Well, the children have been reading some novels about migration because our unit is on migration. And the plan for today is to have them share and reflect on the art installations that they have created, with a goal of having them get to a connect, extend, and challenge thinking routine. I've chosen that because this is a long project that we've been doing. It's gone over 8 weeks of different tasks. And the purpose for today is to have them connect with their original thinking, have a quick look at what it is that they are, at how their thinking's been changed or extended, but primarily to get the next direction. Where do they want to go with their thinking? What's challenging them? What are their burning issues? All right, so what kinds of things did you think about before, or were you thinking you knew or understood before? And how has what you've done or understood lately connected to that? How has it either reaffirmed that or made you wonder about that? So think about some of the things you thought about migration before. Jonathan?
I used to think migration was like, yippee, we're moving to California or whatever. And now I know it's like, you can be forced to move and sometimes.
Well, before I thought it was only rich people, but now I know it's mostly poor people because they can't survive in the country they're in, so that's why they migrate to a different country for a better life.
Okay.
And sometimes they suffer during the migration. That happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. So you're trying to make connections with the kinds of people that migrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found out that people normally die when they migrate.
Uh-huh.
And they don't have that good material to go in. They would have enough food and everything good.
Okay. So you're connecting to experiences on the journey. Now, did anybody go back to, remember at the very beginning of our unit, we looked at our own family's migration history? Turn to someone close to you and really quickly say if you think you found a connection that you can relate what you've learned to really quickly.
The rich people, they have a wonderful life. They have everything they want.
My family was like kind of pushed out of Europe because of war, and most the issues that we're studying about migration, like the people were pushed out of their own country.
From my mom's side, her family was really poor and they never had the money to migrate. They never had a chance to even survive a migration.
So poverty is a connection you've made in...
Yeah, a big connection because my grandpa, he had a terrible life as a child. He had a really hard time.
Uh-huh. So, loads and loads of connections. What are some of the ways that doing this and studying this novel has really stretched your thinking about migration? Take a minute and just think about that.
Like make them go and talk to it.
Okay, so
I mean, I realized that this is not just a storybook, this is something that really happened. And Logan was a true story. And this is something that really happens all around the world now, even.
So an extension of your thinking has been the realness of of some of the negative things about migration.
I think it stretched my feeling to migration because I learned that this migration was really hard to go on the boat or airplane and during on it and even impact in different place.
Okay, so it's really stretched your thinking. I heard the word impact on the different place. Jonathan?
Well, I also didn't know that migration could be so tough and bad, and me and my group, we had to expand our thinking with the conflict of the main government in Afghanistan.
So one of the things that stretched for you was just the sheer difficulty of migration, and also the kinds of conflicts that cause migration. Is that what was expanded?
I found out that people shouldn't be pushed out.
By having these questions recorded and not just raised in a discussion, but by documenting them, they're there for us to explore further. They're there for us to think about further. So, what are some of the issues that are really challenging you now at this point? I mean, you've come a long way in 8 weeks of learning and thinking about migration. You've done your own project, you've done your own novels, you've done your own family history for migration, lots and lots of time to think about it. Now, what are you wondering about? And what are the really burning issues for you about migration that you're still not sure about? You still really, it challenges you.
Well, do the refugees have to get back to their own country, or do they live, and what happens to them?
Why can't some places just let their borders open to some people?
Okay, why can't borders just be open? Yeah, Joanne.
Why can't women, some parts of the world, women be like this, treated like people?
Okay.
Men.
Well, I think our next step then is to have a go at these. Okay? To do an inquiry into your own questions, because your questions have changed so much from the beginning to now. I mean, the questions at the beginning was, if I remember, were what was immigration? What's the difference between immigration and emigration? Who are the people who migrate? Remember those questions, yeah. These are a little bit different now. And I think that the next step for us then is let's put these up, and we'll do a little bit of thinking about them this week. And then next week, we'll get started on having a go at exploring a few of them. Now, is there anything that's not on here that's a real... What I noticed in using the routine today was that it facilitated a really rich conversation amongst us, either when they were in their pairs or when we were working as a group about the issues of migration. I think the questions that they raised today were really significantly different than the ones that came before we did this. Today, the questions that I heard after our discussion or during our discussion were perspective-based, point of view-based. They had a lot of gray areas to them. They were questions that would require someone to investigate the why, not the what.